Evening, YouTube. A little noisy in the house there today, so wife's cleaning up all after Christmas and everything, and getting everything straightened back up. So I thought I'd come outside a while. It's kind of nice here, and do a little video on the outside. Thought I'd talk a little bit about some shotguns today. Do a little video on them. Probably a lot of you can recognize that yellow shell on the right there. That's a little 20 gauge. That's the first gun I started off with. I guess that's a nice gun to start off with as a youngster. Got more scattered than what a 410 or something would have. I mean, it's more of a shotgun with the rounder barrel where it scatter more, got more power. I hear a helicopter coming across somewhere or another. Maybe you can still hear me, but I started off with it, and I shot hit for a few years. I guess I probably got hit back when I was around 6, maybe 7 years old. Maybe 8. It was somewhere in there. I can't quite remember. It's been so long ago, but these little shells here, I remember, the only thing I ever shot in buckshot was 2 3/4, number 3 buck. They had 20 pellets in them. I remember they made 3-inch magnums or 3-inch shells. I'm not sure if these magnums 3-inch shells for 20 gauge, but I never shot any or found any in buckshot. I know they had them in small shot, but that's what I shot for a few years, and I was just a little kid, and they'd trained me with it. My older brothers had trained me with it and everything and all that, and we'd dog hunt, and I shot hitting a little single barrel. They'd ordered for me. I shot hit for years. Then I think around 79 or 80, I went to Santa Claus. I guess I was 12 years old, maybe 12, maybe 13, and Santa Claus had brought me a 16 gauge Remington 1100, and when I went to shoot and hit, then is when I started bringing nice bucks down at a young age. A lot of them I would hit with the 20 gauge single barrel, but if they was any kind of distance to the shots, I mean 40 yards or so, it was hard to get them, or a lot of times what we consider steps. If they were more than 50 steps, that 20 gauge, it was just hard to bring them down. And if you're talking about steps, on up to 80 steps or so, not yards, but steps, 80 good steps, that 16 gauge, that's the sweetest shooting gun I ever shot. It would bring the bucks down. They would, a lot of them would run it. Some of them it'd bring down there, some of them would run a piece, but a lot of them wouldn't go 100 yards, and you could go in there if you heard the dogs hush or whatever and track him by the blood and go in there and find him. But the little 20 gauge, I remember it held, number 3 buck, I remember it held 20 pellets. The 16 gauge, only thing I ever seen in them was number 1s, and I've never seen a 3-inch shell in a 16. 16 gauge, number 1 buckshot to hold 12 pellets. I never found any 3-inch. I don't think they even made 3-inch shells for 16. Maybe that's why the popularity of them went out. But for a mid-sized gun, in between the 20 and the 12, there's no better shooting gun than I ever found than the 16. I mean, I killed a lot of bucks dog hunting with this. Back when I was younger, before they stopped dog hunting around here, maybe 10 years ago or so. Well, on certain woods, a lot of people still dog hunt, but that was a sweet shooting gun right there. And I just don't know. The popularity, I guess, because they was in between the 20 and the 12, the popularity must have went out of them or something. But you had more power than what you had with the 20, to me. But you didn't have the kick and all of what you had out of that 12 gauge. I mean, if you look at the difference in the sizes of them 12 gauge shells there, 2 3/4, one's a 3-inch. And these, they're not as big around, but I guess probably more people bird hunt it and stuff with it than what deer hunt it and all with buckshot. But I don't know, at 16, they quit making, I think, after I got the one I got, I didn't see them around for years. And I think maybe after 2000, they might have started making a few again, and I'm not sure if they still do or not, but I heard they did, but might have been a false rumor. But anyhow, the 12 gauge, it's always been popular, and it'll probably always continue to be popular. I know in the 12 gauge, I even shot the if I shot 2 3/4, I'd shoot the 2 3/4 inch magnums, double-aught magnums. Because the double-aught magnums would have 12 pellets. Then the 3-inch, if I couldn't find the 3-inch magnums, double-aught magnums, I would shoot the regular 3-inch double-aught magnums, because the regular double-aught 3-inch has 12 pellets if it's not a magnum. If it's a magnum, it has 15 pellets. But if I shot the 2 3/4, I always wanted the 2 3/4 inch magnum. Then I could have 12 pellets. But if I was shooting a 3-inch shell and I couldn't double-aught and I couldn't find the magnums, then I would shoot the regular 3-inch double-aught, because it still had 12 pellets. I always liked to have 12 to 15 pellets whenever I was deer hunting, dog driving, shooting deer with buckshot. I shot the triple-aughts before, and I tried them, but the thing I didn't like with the triple-aughts is, I think it seemed like, if I can remember correctly, the triple-aught only had 8 pellets, and if you went to a triple-aught magnum, it only had 9. So that's very few pellets out there. And you know, if you get off at a further distance, if you're up close, that's fine. But I mean, if you're shooting out there to 80 steps or so, I'd rather have something, you know, with more pellets in it or whatever. But I shot the triple-aught before. But the triple-aught now, when it hits, it knocks a pretty good size hole. I remember they made a single-aught. Well, everybody knows, I guess, they made number ones, but they made a single-aught years ago. And the single-aught, I'm not sure about the pellets and all that and hit, but can't remember. But I remember they made the single-aught, because I know the fella that used to like to shoot them on our club, but I can't remember the number of pellets or whatever it had in it. Seemed like he said the Magnum had like 20 pellets and the regular had like 16. I'm not sure, because it's been so many years ago. But anyhow, the 16 hit was my sweet shooting gun when I come up. I mean, I shoot the 12 now and everything, but I don't dog hunt anymore. I just still hunt, so most of the time now I just use rifles. But 16, I don't know if a lot of you may never heard of them or seen them, but it was one sweet shooting gun. But the popularity should come back on hit sometime in the future, but who knows? Sometimes maybe like the 10 gauge or the 8 gauge, they just might go out of play. But thought I'd show you a little gun I started with, and show you the 16 that I shot for years. See if I can get the camera sit down here and focus. I'm out here by myself trying to do these videos. But hang with me here for a second. Yeah, when I started, this is a little 20 gauge. I first started with a little short gun, little boy. They ordered this from Western Auto, and I doubt if a lot of the younger viewers know what Western Auto was, but this came from Western Auto. It's a little single barrel 20, and I shot this thing for a few years. This is what I started with, and his nice little gun for a youngster or something. Ain't much bigger than a Daisy BB gun, but now it's still dangerous to be at size because it's a shotgun, you know. It's still got power, but with this little gun I started with, and they had a special order where it had a little short stock, everything where I could get it up to be able to shoot fast or shoot with and hold it and be steady. But that's what I started with. Now I'm gonna get the other gun, what I was talking about, the 16. And the old 16, I shot hit for years. You can tell it's been out in the weather because we dog hunt, we'd be out in the rain, dog driving and everything, and it's been through a lot. I need to re-blue it and everything and fix it up, and maybe in years to come my grandkids and stuff, or my kids, that hand it down to them where they'll have something that I left them. But yes, it's a nice sweeping gun. I shot this thing for many years. Let's see if I can get the turn over here. Had the rear barrel, Remington Arms Company Incorporated, Illinois, New York, made in USA. But it had the ventilated rear barrel, everything, but Remington 1100. But in the 16 gauge Remington 1100, I only know the one other one right here, and the man put an ad in the paper. After he'd seen me kill a buck with this one, he put an ad in the paper to find one, and fella had one, but they lived about 100 miles from here, and he drove 100 miles to pick up a 16 gauge Remington 1100 because he wanted one also. Because, like I say, they're a very mild gun. They don't have a whole lot of kick. Sweet shooting gun. I mean, couldn't ask for no more. But but I know Remington made tons and tons of the 12 gauge. Tons and tons of the 12 gauge 1100s. I'm trying to find, oh, there it is. Of the 12 gauge Remington 1100s. But in the 16s, I only seen very few. But yeah, these guns, they were some nice shooting guns, and I've held on to this one for all these years. But anyhow, YouTube, enjoyed you watching, and if you like some of the things I show and some of the old memories and stuff of the old guns and memories of the old time hunting and everything, give us a like and subscribe. And maybe after deer season goes out, we only have like 5 or 6 more days of deer season here, and it closes, I'm gonna take some of these old guns out and shoot them a little bit and just mess with them and get the feel of them again, just to see how they still shoot. But anyhow, like and subscribe if you like the channel and like the info, and like to hear about some of the old guns and some of the old times and all growing up around here in the South and the hunting and stuff we done. Anyhow, I hope you enjoy.